4 season, it's done. It's over. Well, this week it is. So the last Uniball rundown coming at you live right now. One more week. We're going to get it all out of the way. The semis, we're going to have a look at them. The finals, we're going to have a look at them. We're going to hand out our awards for this season as well. But as you can see, we've got a bit of a full house here. SJ's off doing varsity stuff, but we are joined by a special guest. And I'll tell you what, he's got, I'd say, arguably, don't get me wrong, I like Uwe, I like Durham, I like Brighton, I like Swansea, I like Northumbria, I like Derby. But you're telling me the game of the week is not the Exeter Demons versus the NTU Renegades. We are joined by Alex of the Exeter Demons. How are you feeling? It's all coming to a head tomorrow.
We're feeling excited. We're ready to go. Been a long season, but this is what it's there for. We're looking forward to playing NTU. It'll probably be our biggest game, so it's exciting. It's what we play for.
So when I was at Exeter just a short while ago, I was informed, I think his first name was Damon, I don't remember his second name. He told me that 10 years ago, around this time, was Exeter versus NTU, and Exeter came out with a last-second field goal. Has anyone informed trying to run that back? How are you going to basically? We know that Exeter, they love the run. NTU love the pass. Do you think you're prepared to sort of shut them down in that respect and just run?
Yeah, it came off on one of our training sessions, but it was just a sort of a coincidence. No attention to it. We're just looking forward to playing them. That is a different team completely to 10 years ago, of course. We believe in our defense. They're probably the most talented defense in at least Division 1. When you see like the players we've got back there, they're definitely ready to deal with the pass or the run. It doesn't matter to them. And then on offense, we can do whatever. We'll pass or run. We'll beat you whichever way we can. And we're just looking forward to getting out there and showing what we can do on both sides of the ball.
Now, this might be a little bit of a loaded question, but obviously there for Oxford. Was there any little tiny bit of squeaky bum time when Oxford actually managed to, especially in the first half, was there any at all squeaky bum time for Exeter? I imagine the answer is going to be no, but I just want to see.
No, we were never worried. We knew what we could do on offense the whole way. Respect to Oxford. They came out, they played well, got a lot of big plays, and they've got some really good players. Their receiver, who was playing both ways, was obviously making some incredible plays, but we knew our defense could handle them and we'd get back out there. They got a massive turnover at the start of the second half, and we just went from there. We know what we can do, and we'll just get on top and we'll stay on top.
So what is the plan going forward for the next, not even 24 hours, 20 or so hours? What's it looking like for Exeter? What time are you leaving? Obviously, I can't imagine you've hung your jersey up in a hotel unless maybe you have. But what's the plan looking like for the Demons?
Yeah, so we're leaving at 6:30 tomorrow morning. Bit different to NTU's 20-minute journey, but we're very lucky with what we have this year. We got a nice double-decker coach, so we're living quite well on the road. But it's just a journey. We'll get there. We'll turn up and we'll play. It's no different to any other away day, just a little bit further.
So to look back on the entire season, we've all thought that Exeter had it from the start. But how's it been actually being involved in the Exeter program? Like, has it just been spectacular, or has there been sort of peaks and valleys that we may not have seen due to not being on the squad?
I think we've just taken it week to week. Like, we knew what we wanted to do at the start of the season, but we always knew you just got to beat the team in front of you every week, and you can't look past that. Like, we've obviously come from a very strong division, especially when you look at having Bournemouth, of course, and other teams like Bath gave us some issues as well away at them. So we never really looked past who was in front of us on that week coming. Of course, we knew we wanted to be in the playoffs and we wanted to be here in the national final. But to do that, we just had to do a job every week. So I wouldn't say there was any like massive peaks or massive troughs. I think the Bournemouth away game was probably one of our best performances during the regular season, but it was just on to the next job straight after. It didn't really matter too much to us. So I'd just say it's been pretty consistent throughout. Like, when people have got injured, there's not been a drop off or anything. Like, we know what we're doing every time. We know people can come in and fill in when they need to. So I wouldn't say that's been an issue for us. And I think it's the same again going into this week and tomorrow, that we'll just go and do our jobs again. Like, it's nothing different. It's still just a game of football.
So when I was
Is there an
commentating
element
the
of-
Oxford versus Exeter game,
Sorry,
sorry, go on. Go on, Connor.
So
All
is
you.
there an element of like an anticlimax with you guys? Because obviously the reality is it's job done. You know, you guys are going to the Prem next year. You know, barring some big top down restaging, is it kind of an element of anticlimax, or is it nice to be playing on a national stage?
Not an anticlimax at all. Like, there's still a trophy there. There's still something to play for, and we still just want to win every game we play. But I guess there is an element of pressure's off. Like, you've done what matters. Like, but you're still playing. Like, we're just happy to be here and happy to keep going. So it's not anticlimactic because it still means a lot. But we've done what we had to do. But now it's what we want to do is the next game.
Gatorade going to be if you win when you dump it over the coach? Just you can have the green one. Can you get green Gatorade? Can you get the Gatorade sponsorship? Is the question.
We've not got any prop bets on it. The Gatorade did get dumped last week for the South Conference, but
Certainly did.
You'll have to wait and see. Yeah, you have to wait and see. We'll have to win first, and then you can find out.
Awful. All your prop bets for the Gatorade out the window now. Don't put your house on it. I don't know. I mean, just in terms of the game, both teams realistically went through their divisions. I'd say, unfortunately, I'd say NTU probably have more of the edge in my mind. So this is only coming from a perspective of me and potentially some other people in this call. Some people out there maybe calling extra underdog a bit. You haven't had that all year. I'd argue. Is there any sort of feeling that you are the underdog in this particular story?
I think in the nicest way possible, we don't care. Like, it's just a game. We went on an underdog run 2 years ago when we ended up with SGS in the final and SGS in our division the whole way through, and beating Portsmouth and Holloway away, and obviously Portsmouth then up last year. So it doesn't matter to us. Like, we've got no idea North versus South because there's no way of scoring it until you get there. So it doesn't really matter to us. We don't. It's not a mentality thing. We'll just go and do our jobs and we'll execute properly.
I mean, I've got no more questions. I'm happy with everything.
Is there added incentive to put on a big performance, considering that you're going to be in the #1 quarterback vlog of Uniball, or is it something that, like, have you watched it in training? Is it something that you've all been like, let's get amongst it, or is it like he's a nobody?
I mean, I've not watched it. From an offensive perspective, like, it doesn't really matter to our side. I don't know about the defense. I can't speak for them, but I'm sure the coaches will use everything that they can get. And that is obviously something that's been massive throughout our whole season has been our coaches. We wouldn't be here without them. And so have to give a massive shout out to them all the way through. But I think we're just looking at film, like, personalities don't matter. We're looking at what we can do and what they can do. And it's just an analytical approach. Like, if you want to post more on YouTube, we'll take more of it. That's all it is to us.
That might be the best answer to a question I've ever heard. That was just very, very much, yeah, amazing. I've got no more questions. If anyone else, this side, no. In that case, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming at you. I believe kickoff is 1. Am I right, Alex? I think it is.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
Kickoff is at 2. It will be on. Will it be on BUCS's YouTube or will it be on the BUCS TV?
It is on, they said BUCS YouTube to us, but they've not added anything yet. So
it'll be on the. That's it. I wasn't sure if it'd be on BUCS TV or BUCS YouTube, but it is coming tomorrow. We'll make sure to post it. 2 o'clock is the kickoff for, as far as I'm concerned, game of the weekend. Exeter versus NTU, followed up by Durham versus the Bullets. But Alex, if you want to shout out anyone, please feel free. Tell people to come down, tell them to watch. And then I will let you get back to your big dinner. And also what you're having for dinner. That's the key here. What are you having?
I've got some pre-cooked food, batch cookers, as an athlete should. And then I've got extra carbs going in tonight with some extra food just to bulk it up and then match my breakfast at 5 a.m. tomorrow. So, yeah, nice life. But, yeah, so for shout-outs, definitely just like obviously our coaches again. They've been massive the whole way through. Lydon, Stad, and Jack, all in particular, like not taking anything away from the rest of the coaches, have also been amazing. But they do so much on the field and off the field for us. So this team has been successful for the last few years and will continue to be successful because of them. You know, players can only be here for what 4 years, 5 years ago.
Speak for yourself, mate.
Well, yeah, on paper, but you know those coaches have been amazing. So a massive thank you to them, and then a thank you to everyone who's helped off the pitch doing chain crew and everything else every week, and our athletic union as well have been amazing.
So remember, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk. I'll plug it again at the end of the show tomorrow, not Sunday. Tomorrow, 2:00, Exeter versus NTU. Alex, thank you for coming on. Good luck for tomorrow. We will let you get back to various dinners while we cover the semis and all that stuff going forward.
Thank you very much, and have a good rest of your show. Thank you for streaming all the games for us, and it's really helping grow the game over here. So thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Don't worry, you can buy me a beer tomorrow, maybe or not, because I don't know if you'll go straight home or watch the Prem final. Probably go straight home, I imagine, because that'll be on quite late.
We'll see.
Anyway,
see if you've got any celebrating to do.
Yes, you know, counting my chickens before they hatch there. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember tomorrow we'll keep plugging it. Alex, we'll catch you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Bye. So, no show last week because we might as well just have one big one. The semis. I would say, are people surprised? But let's be honest, you probably are. Let's go down the scores, starting off in the Prem. The Bullets beat Leeds Beckett 50-0. Did we see that coming? Yeah, we did. Now, Mystic Sill, somewhere in Qatar, he's managed to get it. Durham beat the Nottingham Gold 21-10. I'm surprised by it. I don't know if any of you are, but
I don't know. I don't think I would say surprised. I think if you look at all of that division scores between Notts, Durham, and Leeds Beckett, like they were always close. It was always a possibility, not like UE, which seems like a foregone conclusion.
When's the last time Nottingham didn't get to the final?
I have no idea what Dwayne just said.
I think he said, when's the last time Nottingham didn't get to the finals? I imagine it was 3 years ago, I believe. Yeah. Well, his thing is, don't get me wrong, I'm not surprised in the sense of over the last, the second half of the season, Durham really have become a much more complete squad. But it's still mad to it always seemed like it was on, destiny for it to be a Gold Bullets three-peat. And now, Saints have come and, usurped them. And it makes for, an interesting blend of teams going into the final. But I think we'll get into it when we cover the finals because we'll go through D1 first. We'll talk about, what do we think Durham are going to be able to do. Div 1, Exeter beating the Oxford Lancers in what was a great game. I was there, streamed it. Tell you what, and I said this, fair play to the Oxford Lancers. Fair play to them. That first half was great. Their QB, Caldecott, throwing some dimes. I remember saying on live stream, how do they keep doing this? And they kept doing it. Throwing bombs. Garnier LaBelle. Oh, beautiful. But it goes the way of Exeter. NTU beating Manchester 45-6. NTU. I think that they're better than I think they are.
We had a chat months ago about whether or not we thought the Midlands were better than we were giving them credit for. Well, that might have been dead too, but even so, I think that whole chat sort of how good was the Midlands division compared to Northern one, and that definitely proved it in the last however many weeks. But I don't think we saw. I think we all would have guessed at the start of the year the East, I imagine, getting through.
Yeah.
And you very much, I think, went under everybody's radar, or at least for us.
I don't know when they started blowing out Hallam through the year, that put everybody on notice.
It's so different because they played Hallam twice in the second half of the season. It was, that was a game that we were sort of all waiting for to sort of test their mettle, and they just banged it like 3 times, beating Hallam by quite a considerable margin.
Wasn't even close.
No, but Manchester, I'm surprised about. I will say, in speaking to some people who've played Manchester, I won't say who. Don't worry, it's not anyone in this call. They were like, I think that they were telling me they think I'm giving Manchester too much credit. And I don't know. It means
So to give a kind of bit of context to that, probably.
It wasn't you, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Manchester are a good side. I won't be around the bush. They've got some very, very good players.
Yeah.
They couldn't decide what to do at quarterback. And they chopped and changed through the entire year, depending on who they had available, because they had 2 guys. They had the ex-Lancaster QB, and then they had the kid who played for Titans, who also is an Irish international. And he started playing a bit of Wildcat, and he's a much better runner, but he's not got as good of an arm, and he would tell you that. He's a brilliant receiver. He's a brilliant threat with his legs, but he's not the best thrower of the ball. So I think that getting caught in that and not having guys available probably hurt them going down the stretch.
It's an interesting one. Like, it was just I was just told that after their game with Warwick, where it was 30-33 to the Tyrants, and don't get me wrong. Like the person who said it, they are normally bang on with this stuff, but like, it's still impressive. But it's like, does that particular piece of information take away from the Renegades' win here? No, because I still think the Tyrants are a good side. But again, just an interesting bit of scar. So moving on to Div 2, the Southern shaped up basically how we expected it. Swansea beating Imperial 20-8. I thought that game would be a bit closer, especially when I believe Imperial scored that in the 4th quarter. Brighton beating UCL. I think we had that. Northumbrian Mustangs shutting out the green, not just beating the green, shutting out the green. We have to say that is impressive. No?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, massively.
Amazing. Like, it's difficult to really preface just how amazing Northumbria has been this season.
All of their wins have come. It's all been about their quarterback. There's been very little chat about their defense, and clearly the defense is very good as well. So,
yeah, Nottingham averaged over 30 points. I've just seen in the home season this year.
Make a point. And it's linking it with the Gold that Gold had to call up the Green QB because Gold had some QB issues through the end of the season. So the guy who started at QB for Green didn't finish the season there.
But here's the thing, though, I imagine it's a bit more bittersweet now. Gold are out, but again, you can't sort of underestimate just how massive it's that the Green are the first seconds team to be Div 1. It's still amazing. But I imagine they were trying to go for that double first place in the Prem and the D2. But the sort of the big D2 one here, Derby, they're on the revenge tour. They're ready. They've got a home game now booked with Northumbria. And ladies and gentlemen, people watching, I'm very happy to be able to announce that Sportank, we are doing both the Division 2 Championship games on Sunday. We're doing both of them. Northumbria versus Derby, which kicks off at 1, and Swansea versus Brighton, that kicks off at 11. We're doing both of them. So, if you're a football fan, if you're a D2 football fan, basically it's like the 25th of December for you. But on Sunday we're bringing you both. But Derby beating. I know Jamie announced some things, but Jamie, what are your thoughts?
I think a lot of it will go down to, because I've not spoken to the people that I spoke to before, I think a lot of it will go down to what we spoke about, where they had a lot of injuries. And this isn't to discredit Derby because they are a good side. I would have been more interested to see how the result would have been if it was 2 fully strength sides, and it might have still been the same result. and that also might not be the reason. They might have gone in and absolutely eclipsed them. But I wasn't surprised by it at all, as I said the week before. And that we were even having the conversations about Derby beating them before that conversation about injuries was there. So it's not like it's something that was like, oh my days, this is absolutely unheard of. But yeah, I'm interested to see the final. I still think Northumbria walk them. I put an audacious comment into one where
we've got a structure to this show this week. We'll get into the finals because unless anyone's got anything else for the semis, I mean, I'm happy.
No, I don't think Derby's injury woes were not Derby, but UCLan's injury woes were as bad as I think they were making out, given what I've seen, given their starting lineups. And the reports I've heard from the game, I think it was just a bad day at the office for UCLan.
But again,
Derby had their number on defense and had it.
It's so difficult because, like, you know, you have lost, but UCLan they've accomplished the big goal. You know, like UCLan have been on the edge of going up for a fair bit, and now they've done it. So it's difficult.
They've also got an unbelievably young side, and I'd imagine most of them will be going and playing at Manchester over the summer.
There's got a lot of guys going to Wolverines.
Yeah,
not a lot.
Well, exactly, which is basically a second team at this point. So that they'll only get better, and I don't think that they'll struggle to settle in next year.
Happy to throw money at it. Well,
yeah,
because here's the thing, like.
And they'll no doubt go and get some more signings in. They'll get some more youth, but it'll just continue to grow. And I think that they are legit for years.
Here's the thing, right? Like, we might not have got UCLan versus Northumbria this year, but we're going to get it twice next year. So, you know, if you've been waiting for that game, you just have to wait a little bit longer. So, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, this time of year, we dish out some awards. And it's no different. It's no different. We've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. We got 6 this year because we sometimes bogged it down too much last year. Now we are going to start off with an award, which last year we brought in the Sunderland Award. The Sunderland Spartans last year, they forfeited all of their games apart from one, which was I think they beat Teesside, I believe. And we were left scratching our heads being like, what? Why'd you do that? Huh? So, I mean, this one's difficult because there's no real nominees. We just sort of pick one out of the air. And don't worry, I have informed said person of this. This year's Sunderland Award, and later these will go up on Instagram and Facebook after the show. The Sunderland Award for this year. The what? I don't understand. This year goes to Harriet Watt Wolverines. He's got the trophy. Ladies and gentlemen, it was a strange one. You know, obviously having Dylan on the show, we put a lot of stock. We follow Harriet Watt probably closer than we follow some of the other teams just because Dylan's here, and you know we know some of the coaching staff as well. Just due to some of the things happening regarding exams, not being able to, play as many fixtures as they may like. But then at the end of the season, beating Stirling, you know, like for me personally, Dylan, I say this, it's just because what could have the season been if all the games were played?
Yeah, no, I get that. I like to look at it as much as what it could have been versus what it could be. We still had, I think, a reasonably small squad in that final game, of which 11 were first-year kids. And obviously, we all know how the cycle of Uniball works. I think you'd have been stupid not to realise that us going from sort of doing nothing in many prior years to having an unreal year last year probably means you're reaching the end of one of those cycles. So, as I say, I like to think it's more of a what will be rather than a what could have been. Benefited off the Scottish division in a way, but yeah, no, I understand it. It's been a weird season actually being involved in it as it has for watching it, I'd imagine. But luckily we've got our fixture in a week and a half against Aberdeen that was meant to be in December. Obviously counts for nothing, but you know, it's something. So I'll accept the award with pride when we come back next year.
What this boils down to is still look out for Harriet Watt next year. But what a strange season it was for the Wolverines.
Yeah.
Also, has anyone got anything else to add? Because I'm sort of talking my head off here. I know that Connor doesn't know that we've done these, so Connor's
This
got
is not- I'm
anything.
just like reacting with everybody else.
Yes, you can just react. We
It's
all
funny.
know what they are. It's going to move on to comeback team of the year. A team that was looking a bit shifty last year, but come back and had a great season. And you may think, well, they got relegated this year, and they're in the final this year. Why are they the comeback team of the year? The answer to that question is wait until the end of the show. All right, wait until all the awards have been given out, because comeback team of the year, I said it last week doing the game, for me it's Oxford Lancers. Edge of relegation last year to making it all the way up to the semis this year. It felt sort of like they weren't supposed to be there, but playing with house money and putting on a good performance for the most part in Oxford. Comeback team of the year for the rundown is Oxford.
Yeah,
I know that there'll be some saying, what about this? What about so and so? We did have some of the nominees. I did have Swansea in there. I even had Hull for a little bit because they were but then they got relegated. But they thought they do. But also, did you also, ladies and gentlemen, time national champions, by the way? Did anyone else know that?
I played through the years when they were ridiculously good, and we always used to get absolutely humped by them.
And that's why you get the 4-time national champion, Hull Sharks. But no, it's going to Oxford. So we're going to move on to. We've got some host awards this year because I feel like we need some of them. So this award, we've got 3 host awards.
Worse.
We've got 3 host awards. This award is for the host who just love to spice things up a bit too much to his detriment sometimes. The coldest Arctic frosty take award goes to our man from Wrexham. He's taken home another award. I will say, what I like about Dylan Speaks is he's not afraid to just throw something out there, because if it sticks, he's a legend in that part of the world.
I got overexcited when I picked Bristol a year ago, and I thought I'd run with it again this year. And
that's it. I've had
it's
it.
It's a law of averages.
I had it a few years ago. I picked Worcestershire Black Knights to beat someone, and they hadn't won a game all season. They then won that game, and then I was a hero in Worcestershire. Happened last year was the only one to pick them, and then they won. Simple as that. Moving on to some of the more serious awards that I know people do tune in for. The funniest social media award. We've had some good ones this year. People being inventive, though I will argue it seems as though there's been less focus on it than there was last year. We did have some good nominees. Glasgow, trying hard. Theirs was trying to put it out there, putting out some memes. I don't know if you call it like Durham. If you go and watch Durham's little trailer for their Premiership final game this week. But I felt like there wasn't as much of a selection as there was last year. So this year, they came up with it, ladies and gentlemen. They are the originators. The Cardiff Cobras are taking home the funniest social year. Let's be honest, a fun day out with the lads is an institution now. It's an institution sponsored by Raid Shadow Legend. No, it's an institution now. Just the term. A fun day out with the lads. It's said from the top of Scotland to the bottom, to Plymouth Blitz, all the way country-wise. It is known, a fun day out with the lads. So the funniest social media for us is going to be going to the Cardiff Cobras. That, as far as I'm concerned, that's a legacy award for them.
It's also not just the fun day out stuff, though. The fun day out stuff is obviously the pinnacle of it all. But there's so much stuff that they do. The stories are always just incredible. Like when they sit there on game days and just post some stuff, it's hilarious. But they won that award for me when they did the first UE game day poster with the Jadrian Clark poster with the carling and everything. Like they won the award at the beginning of the season when they did that. It's been a disappointing year for social media in terms of comedy. I think no one will disagree. In comparison to previous years, there hasn't been a lot.
He'd kill me if I didn't mention. I know Fraser up here tried sort of.
Consistent.
Fraser definitely tried doing something. I imagine.
I believe Edinburgh was in there. But it's just like Glasgow. Don't get me wrong, their stuff didn't always stick, but they were throwing everything at the wall. And
watch out for Edinburgh after Wednesday. I imagine they've got a varsity game with Napier, and it will be the third time in the last 2 months if they manage to beat them. So
we're going to move on
people are too nice to each other at the moment. People there's not enough beef in Uniball, and like the people are like being all happy families and well done. Yeah. Your D-line was so good. And it's like, grow up, like make it enjoyable. You can be shithouses and have a laugh and still get on. Like,
but unfortunately, we have the Uniball in general has a collective enemy now that we all just kind of hate, which in the UE Bullets.
Everyone hating the UE Bullets doesn't mean everyone hating the UE Bullets doesn't mean teams in Div 2 can't beef each other. Like,
yeah, but
you can have
I agree. I know what you mean, but I think that the Uniball has gotten nicer because we all have a collective enemy.
But no, I get what Jamie means. Like, I feel like there's been a considerable, like the shit housing this year has been lowered from last year. It was all over the shop. You know, we had Uniball memes for a little bit, and they were doing funny stuff, and then they stopped, and then other ones just keep popping up. There's one based out of Wales that's doing stuff. But yeah. But anyway, Cardiff, they're the funniest social media. The Nose Ball Award, it's a good one. Who got the most predictions right is basically the premise of this one. And I'm very, very humble that I get to give this award to myself for getting 73% of my picks correct, comparatively to everyone else awful. Though everyone had a late resurgence apart from me, but I won it with 73. Yeah, there you go. I like basically ridding myself of all chances of employability because I spent too much time focusing on university football because I peaked at university and I can't seem to escape it, and I don't want to go into adult life because wow. Thanks, guys. Okay. Best social media. This one is an interesting one because for the last 2 years, we do this is the third one now. For the past 2 years, it's been won by one team in the Bournemouth Uni Bobcats. And Bournemouth, they had good social media. There's some other teams that have had good social media. The Bullets, for example, either Gold. But this year, we have found it fitting to award the best social media to the Portsmouth Destroyers. It's been, again, the posts are much better because I've actually got the explanations on there. But creative, they've got game highlights. I just think it's a template of what teams should be doing. So Portsmouth, they win it. Simple as. And I will say this was a group decision by, Connor didn't know, but we've got that one. So we've got two more. One more host one more team one. The rundown host of the year. We've had some good people on this year. SJ's been there. Dylan's been in and out. It could be me, but realistically, as far as I'm concerned, he's went above and beyond just because the time difference. He's a teacher, for crying out loud. He doesn't have to pay attention to Uniball happening on a small island many, many hours from where he lives. He doesn't have to do any of this. Like, don't get me wrong, no one has, but like in a different country, like mad. Jamie, you've won it. As far as I'm concerned, it's maximum effort from Jamie. Just mad. So thank you very much. Thank you to all you, but thank you, Jamie, for dedicating your time. That's a bit more, I'd argue, a bit more precious than say mine. Probably not Dylan's because he has got a degree to do. I don't know, Connor. How much is your time worth?
I have prepared a little bit of a speech.
Sorry, go
as well.
on. Yep.
I've prepared a bit of a speech
go on.
as well. So there's 3 people I would like to thank for the award. The first one is Coach Westy and the Durham Saints boys. I really hope they back it and they bring it home. They bring on the bacon tomorrow. Secondly, we'll go with Mr. Steve Rains because he's really pushed us as a unit this year and I really do appreciate how good they've been. And justice for Bournemouth, they should have won the social media award. Just don't get on a flight to Qatar, Steve, but you've really pushed us this year. But finally, they were getting it dedicated before their antics this weekend. But the third person or people is the Lincoln Colonials, because not only could they not turn up to varsity and they bottled it and whatever, but I struggle to see how they're going to be a team next year. They're begging everyone to pay for them. They don't have a pitch. They don't have their own kit. But it's all right because at least they're tagging their head coach that no one's ever heard of, but at least he's on all of their posts on his own personal account. I really do. The Lincoln Colonials, they're what got me into the show. They're what got me the permanent slot. When without them, I just don't think that we would still be going today.
All of that was the thoughts of Jamie, by the way. I just want to point that out. I mean, I still like Lincoln.
The whole lot get a shout out.
No. Again, that's the thoughts of Jamie Lincoln. So please don't have a go at me about that. I didn't know he was going to say that. Yeah, coach. I hope they're still a team next year.
Was anything I said wrong?
I mean, it's just a bit rude, isn't it?
Are you going to tell your kids that you got host of the year?
Oh, they believe me. It's getting printed and laminated and it's going on the wall.
No, but here's the thing, right? It is difficult. Like there are multiple teams that don't have a pitch this year, right? So I don't understand why. I know that it's just because of varsity, but fuck, give Lincoln a break. At least they've played all their games. They've gone away.
They don't even have their own kit. They don't even have a kit. They don't even have a kit.
I don't know if it's anything that's happening nationwide, but I know Napier's issue and the Edinburgh Wolves have moved because Pethmill doubled their prices this year.
Oh, did they? Oh, but
Yeah,
I swear,
so it's why the Wolves aren't playing there either.
Wolves
anymore.
and Napier have both moved, and Napier obviously
I
play
swear, like,
Winterborn,
I swear
which is why...
everyone in Scotland plays at that park. Bloody hell.
Not anymore.
So yeah, actually, Jamie, I'm sick of this. Fuck off. Leave the fucking Colonials alone. No.
He says whilst he's wearing a bullshit, actually.
But here's the thing, like all you've been slagging off Lincoln. At the end of the day, they're still my team. You know, like leave it.
Aren't you president of a team?
Huh?
Aren't you president of a team?
Oh, not for a long time, mate. No, I stopped being president in.
I've not once seen you wear a Lincoln Colonials hoodie, but you wear that whole shirt one every week.
And I'll buy one then. No, I'm not having this. You've just flamed my former team for like no good reason when I'm happy to give you an award on my fucking show. No, mate. You can have your award, but honestly, Lincoln and George, this guy can fuck off. No. I'm back, Lincoln. I hope they're a team next year. They made the playoffs again. Christ alive. Show some respect. Your team didn't make the fucking playoffs. Your team got fucking relegated.
So did MMU.
I don't coach there anymore, so it's fine.
Okay, let's move on then, because otherwise we'll just be shouting at each other. So there's one award left. It's the big one. Team of the year. Obviously, we do discuss it. There's factors going into it. I know last year we got hassle because we gave it out before the finals. But yeah, so did the NFL. So if you've got any complaints about that and you want to send them into my inbox, don't. Okay.
We're about to invite the shithouses into your inbox.
No, I mean don't.
So for everyone listening, that's at Gridiron Tebs on Instagram.
Wow, my personal account. That's mad.
You haven't made
not the business account. Very.
What's the business account?
Sportank. Gridiron.
Oh,
don't send it to Sportank. You'll get blocked.
You will. but there's been some great teams this year. You know, where we can look at Exeter, we got NTU, Leeds, Manchester, UClan, even the Bullets. You know, the Bullets get their own award. The Bullets get the Bullets Award, right? You are the best team. Let's just knock that apart. But a team that you know, has sort of come out of the woodwork and just smashed everyone, and it's been impressive all season long. We did discuss this for a bit, but one sort of stuck out for us, and it is the Northumbria Mustangs. They're just far and away, they're very, very impressive. You know, even the varsity game 7-9 against Premiership Newcastle, just amazing for the Mustangs season.
Two teams are going to be in the same division next year.
Yeah. Obviously, Newcastle coming down. You got UClan and Northumbria, and people
That's going to
going
be
down.
an interesting. I don't know how they're going to work that.
It's going to be a very, very interesting div. Obviously, again, we don't know. I imagine that a national Prem, what's it called? National
Super
League.
Prem, isn't it?
Sorry,
National League. Yeah,
Super Prem National League thing. I imagine that announcement. You know, I'm not saying I don't know, but I imagine it may come soon.
It must do, surely. Like there was
It must.
BUCS conference was the other week, so like.
Yeah, like I imagine.
Might
I
be
imagine
halftime
we'll
show
know
tomorrow in the
relatively soon.
final.
You might as well. Again, I don't know, but it just seems like the place to do it would be at the end of the regular season or the end of the postseason for this one. But yeah, Northumbria Mustangs, they are our team of the year. Yeah, that's it. So congratulations to everyone who won an award, and just know what a surprise, SJ didn't win an award.
He actually did
guy.
get to the semis of all 3 awards for hosts.
He did get to the
semis. He got knocked out every time.
Oh God, gonna get a message from that in about 5 minutes. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna move on to the piece of resistance. Is that what they say? No. For the BUCS season, there's only 4 games left. The finals starting off tomorrow. The UE Bullets versus the Durham Saints. What are we thinking?
He's done it again. Why are you starting with the big game?
What?
Because it's not
Why?
a big game.
Fucking tomorrow, you twat. Because I don't get wrong, I could go Exeter, but do you know why? It's because I think we've got more to talk about for Exeter versus NTU than we do Durham versus UE. And then also the Div 2 games are on Sunday.
I want to talk about the Lincoln Colonials.
Shut up.
This has gone sideways fast.
I don't think.
Okay. We should say what the score is. We'll say what the score is. Okay. Well, yeah, might as well.
Yeah, I'll go UE by.
No, we're
by
not doing. We're just
40.
talking. Basically, it's do we think there's a chance for Durham?
No.
No.
Yes,
Why?
because, and this I've already had a conversation with some of the boys from Durham because obviously I went on a bit of a mad one when they won, and yeah, I genuinely believe that they might just come out and throw a 75-yard touchdown first play, get ahead, and then it just be like this mad chaotic game where UE just are scrambling and they're just desperate and they're making mistakes. I said it in the chat the other day, I don't think off the first half, I don't think that 50-0 against Beckett was fair. Obviously, I haven't watched the second half, but in the first half, it was a lot closer than what that scoreline suggests. And it was a lot. I think a lot of it stems down to the fact that Beckett didn't have a QB. Beckett have been a little bit all over the place, but in that first half, especially, the game was there for the taking. Now I see it is Durham just come out swinging, and they just go for it. And if they get ahead, with no one seeing you fall behind yet this season, it's not happened. And what's going to happen? Yes, they've got Europe's MVP who's probably been behind before and knows how to handle it, but they're also American. And can their pride take falling behind to Durham Saints, who no one thought would even, some people were saying that they wouldn't even get into the playoffs. But can they accept being behind? Does it just become frantic? And that's how I see it going, is it just becomes chaos.
Don't get me wrong, that's a great narrative, but I think Mr. Houvet, I think he's asking the question that I think is on everyone's mind. This is the question. Bullets haven't conceded a point all season. Obviously, they managed to get to the semis a few years ago before they got scored on by Beckett. But
I think
all
Durham.
Bullets conceding points. Obviously, James.
I think
Sorry,
Durham should get the Durham football team's starting goalkeeper down for the day and just go.
Well, mate, if you watch their video, you'd know that their kicker is actually the Durham badminton president.
What?
No, that's true. Or at least it's true according to that. According to the thing. Again, go and watch it. It's on Durham's Instagram. It's a good little teaser.
Either way, get his leg warmed up. Make him wear steel toe caps. Do something.
What was it
if
that
they
Durham
put
was
3
saying?
points up against, it's a victory.
If they only knew, or something like that.
If only they knew.
It is that way though, where to some degree, what's the fucking point?
I don't know about that. If you again,
Connor, you're so
because I've watched all the
negative.
fucking results come in, and the fact and how you know that UE are in so much debt because they are throwing so much money at their American football program because their coach seems to have a lot of pull over their SU. They are in a shit ton of debt because they are throwing out
get
money.
an angry message because I don't know if that's true.
Left, right, and centre.
Let's just wait for this to come in.
For some reason, they've just earmarked it as they need to win and absolutely hound everybody. And for what? What's the point? Yeah, great.
Championships.
You've got the EFL.
Because it's the last. Just on that, because it's the last show of the year, and obviously we don't really want to go into it too much. But what do they do next year? Where do they go? Because every year they've got bigger and they've pulled out something more and more wild. What do they do next year? Because they can't exactly pull out FA Abada, can they? They're not. Surely they've reached the limit of players they can bring in where people go, "Holy shit, what's going on there?"
It reached the peak for me when they were pulling a lot of. It's when they pulled the really good guy from Edinburgh Napier, the D end from Edinburgh Napier, and they watched him in one of the final games or watched him in a game. And then 2 weeks later, he was offered a scholarship to go there the year after. Once you start being able to pinch anybody and everybody you want from your own division, from anywhere in the country, at that point, they have no competition. They have.
But it's not even been spoken about since after January. Keanu Ebanks signed for him, and that's not been mentioned. The lad was playing in the CFL 2 years ago.
They've got Wyndham Clark, who's the EFL's reigning MVP, played D1 college football for 6 years. What's the point? Genuinely, what's the point?
What I'm saying is anything they do next year is going to be just a disappointment because they can't get more extreme.
Was it just to chase the three in a row? Is that?
Yeah. Is it like, oh, we've done it now, let's rein it back, or is it we're going to go for it again and just go absolutely
Carlos,
mental?
I believe the head coach is definitely salaried. I don't know about the rest of the coaches, but I know that the head coach is a full-time position at UE. I'm
just saying the point is to win championships, be the best team in the country. I know it's it's unfair for everyone else. I know it's difficult because it's so difficult, but the point is to win championships.
I don't understand, and I might be well wrong here. I know obviously there's a difference in America in that they want to play for longer, whereas in the UK you can play recreationally. Is the focus of the players who come over here to just play more football, or are they trying to get something out of it?
They're trying to get the guys who they're trying to get paid. They're trying to go to the EFL and get pro contracts there, or in Germany or in Italy. Lots of the guys who come over here for scholarships, fair few of the guys who've gone to Beckett, the guys who go to UE, SGS, Notts, they basically want that sort of semi-national stage here so they can go to Europe and get paid to go and play more football.
Well, surely UE would have at this point, would they not be better off trying to make or get themselves into a league like Manchester have done? I'm not being funny. You see, universities up and down the country have teams in, like Cardiff Met have a semi-pro rugby team. I think Hartbury do as well. In the south, that'll be by you, Chris. Sorry, government name.
Yeah, I know La Harbury, yeah.
But it's like, surely for them to actually get players now who want to do something with it, surely they make a team that's actually playing in a proper league.
Okay, let's wait until if there's a national league and they smash that as well, which they probably will. Then like the conversation of, okay, Bullets, maybe this is a bit too much, right?
My guess is that they will do it for one more year on a similar level to what we've seen just now, and then BUCS will step in and go.
How can they step in?
Maybe not.
They
can impose spending limits. They can impose overseas player limits. They do it a lot. They do it a lot in. I think they do it in cricket. I think they do some of it in rugby, where you've got limits on the number of overseas players you can play in your highest scoring teams. So it's not unheard of.
That's what I mean. I don't get
years.
I don't get why. Surely the better model is to try and do a rugby thing where they get themselves into a proper league and then they have a university team underneath it that sort of like works up, as in the UE2s actually try and work their way up to the Prem themselves, and then you can build an academy and you actually have income as well as output.
Well, that was what SGS's plan was, because that's why SGS are affiliated with the Bristol Aztecs as well, isn't it? That was the idea, that you pull them in when they're still at school age and you literally build them through. But the problem with that is that the NFL Academy came along and that ruined their plan.
Yeah, I don't agree with sort of getting school kids to pick a university based on playing American football in the UK. Because as you say, if NFL Academy is probably your best bet to it, and if you're playing like, I understand sort of the loyalty of the youth side, and it's great with the youth sides, but getting somebody to pick a university course based on playing American football 4 years personally seems ridiculous, but that's me.
But it clearly works, and it's working. You know, it's working at a Div 2 level when you've got UClan being able to pull as many of the under-19 GB guys up there, because Bloomfield's coaching them day in, day out, and in the rear constantly, and able to get them. You know, a five in this kind of current climate, a $5,000 incentives package is not to be sniffed at. When you're, taking that off your student debt, why would you not?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, a degree is a degree that where it comes from seems to matter less and less.
Do you think there are American football youths or kids in the UK who are going to be going to UE with an intention to work their way through the second team and get into the first right now? Like, do you think they'll actually have people go in there to play, or do you think people aren't going to bother? Because
they definitely do, because some of the guys who they've pulled in on the scholarships this year, because they're on 4-year scholarship, played UE2s this year.
But they didn't have the best year, did they?
Middle of the road, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, are they even getting the income of non-scholarship kids from the UK who want to play high level and think they'll be able to work their way up? Because it's got to be demoralizing if you go over to UWE and you work your way up for 2 years, and then you work your way up quarterback, the old lad leaves and they sign JG and Clark, and suddenly you go, okay.
Yeah, but it's not impossible, because I've spoken to people on the UE ones who played for the UE2s and they worked their way up.
Did we not have them on last year? And I asked a similar question: is whether it was a bit demoralizing when your coach, you've worked your way through, and then your coach goes to the States and pulls a scholarship guy in at your position.
And
they said no, and maybe that was media trained, but
I just don't think it does happen.
Not allowed to.
It does happen, but the question was, are Durham going to put any points on them?
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
I think they will.
Unless they get a kick, which, you know what, we'll celebrate. That would make my day. If Durham get a three-pointer.
I'm just saying, 2 years ago, Bullets went into that game with the gold, and everyone thought it was simple as pie, Bullets take it. And what happened instead was one of the best games of football that anyone has ever seen. And Nottingham led for part of that game. Do I think we're going to see something of that variety? No. But do I think Durham put points on the board? I certainly hope so.
There's
do you
a
think-
very big difference between that game and this game, and it is, and I will
Yes,
bang,
I'm
Yeah.
aware.
bang with
I was
this.
going to say, do you think
Yeah.
Nottingham have got that much worse in the 2 years?
No.
Right. So we're assuming Durham are similar level to them now, and UWE now is such a different beast to.
But then what I would say is that at the quarterback position, Nottingham have gotten worse because they didn't have an American quarterback for this since January. So they have gotten a lot worse at quarterback, and I like you've seen what Wyndham Clark's done to UWE's offense. Like having that kind of a guy who can throw people open no matter what makes a difference.
You keep saying Wyndham Clark, who came second in the Players' Championship yesterday on the PGA Tour. but-
Yeah, fine. What's his name? I can't remember.
Jadrian.
Jadrian. Wyndham Clark's has got. Wyndham Clark's a pro golfer.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Just lipped out.
Brilliant.
Um,
I was going to say, huh?
Jadrian, Chris Brown, Clark, just bang. I don't think Durham are getting enough credit here. The turnaround that they've had from the start of the season to the end, I really don't think it's got enough credit. Personally, I think that the beginning of the year they started and people thought, "Fucking hell, they don't look very good," and then they were completely upfront. I don't know how many people and like are following or are friends of people in Durham from the start of the season. They were all saying the ability was there, but just it's a very young receiver group that it just wasn't clicking. They weren't catching balls. It was something like they had 19 dropped passes in one game or something ridiculous, and it was just wasn't working. And now it's clicked, and it's just. And I don't think they get enough credit. I'm not by any means saying that the favourites and it's going to be easy, and I think it would be the biggest shock in history and whatever. But I think people going, "Oh, they're absolutely awful. They're going to get wiped." I don't
think you're right.
think it's fair credit.
I'm not trying to take anything away from Durham at all. Like, please don't remember, they've had a brilliant season, capped off with a massive win against Nottingham. First team to do it in a long time in the playoffs. Like, Nottingham, for all their flaws, for all their good and bad, they have been a playoff force for a long time. And to knock them off in a winner-takes-all game is massive credit to them. But you're right, it's just not. It's two different conversations. Durham are very good. UE are ridiculous and overpaying and over delivering on everything that they ever need to do.
They are. Their trenches are ridiculous, and it sounds stupid, but in Uniball,
you do know what you're going to get when now you've said that their trenches though is they're going to pull out we've got so many English players on the O line and D line and stuff.
And that's fine.
There's no doubt on that they do. How much of it is organic and that they've not just cherry picked from elsewhere? That's the real question.
Look at the number of SGS
they're amazing, but it's you give any of those skill positions that much time. I'm not being funny. He could sit. How long he could sit in the pocket and just wait for one of their lads to get open, which they will. Like, you get that much time, somebody gets open. It is just brutal.
I think the telling thing is Jason Sharsh is back, isn't he? He's playing in the final, which might just ruin the joy for everyone because he's just scarily good. And everyone talks about Jadrian Clark. I think in terms of the offense, him and KK Brooks have been the thing that have made it click. And Jadrian Clark stood there and thrown the ball around. And because he's that good, he hasn't really had to think a lot. But the receiving core of the team this year in comparison to last year is just unbelievable.
Really exciting game. Genuinely really exciting game.
Yeah, I mean, like we've said about Venegas's YouTube clips and all that stuff. But we have to say that he's very good at football. And I think it is going to be, a pass versus run game. Don't get me wrong, X did pass a fair few times in that game against Oxford, even doing some doubles and all that good stuff. But I think it's pass versus run game. Simple as that. I've obviously got a pick for it, but it's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
It is.
I if you look at the two semi-finals, especially, obviously, I don't necessarily know what happened with Exeter, but I know that NTU basically shut down Manchester's run game, and Manchester's run game has been very good all year. They forced them to pass. They forced them into having to pass, and then got three picks in the game, one of which was brought back to the house. So, yeah,
there will be a 16% chance of rain with 15 kilometers of wind during the game tomorrow.
Okay.
But I don't know how much of the semi-final for NTU people have watched. They ran it for the full first half because of the weather. So it's not like we don't have a run game either. It's like
which was a swamp.
The pitch was awful. Yeah. So it's not like it's just going to be shut down the pass and NTU have got nothing. Like their run game is still really good. It's going to be an absolute blinder of a game, and I
think it'd be
genuinely
great.
can't wait to watch it.
It's at Loughborough, isn't it, this year?
Yes.
So it's at their academy pitch, which is a great facility, and obviously will negate some of that. But I think it will be a very, very good game. I personally don't see Exeter's defense winning and beating that, because I think NTU have shown that they can beat you any which way on anything in any weather.
Yeah, I mean, I've also gone for NTU.
I think Jamie went Exeter, didn't he?
Yes,
I've gone Exeter. I'm just on a bit of the hype with them a little bit, but that by no means is me going down.
You can get it.
Saying
Like,
it's going to be.
I genuinely think it could go either way.
Yeah.
Which is good. Which is given it's at least a potential projection for the league shake-up that may well come next year. It's exciting because NTU have had some close games, Exeter not necessarily, but there's been some good games and good teams, and I think it bodes well in general that these two are the teams that are left standing.
This is what you love about the playoffs, though. It's two teams that would never come up against each other, and actually it means you can draw comparisons for, like, even if you're a team that have lost to NTU or Exeter this year, you can look at how you're doing relative to the rest of the country.
Yeah.
As we did. We thought we were having a bad year this year, and then we saw the Scottish teams all get thumped and realised we were having a really bad year this year.
Okay, so moving on to Div 2. Starting off with Derby versus Northumbria. Okay, let's get something out of the way because I feel like I know how this is going to go. What Derby has done has been great. They haven't been promoted, but they've made it to the final, beating teams that it's the revenge tour mindset. New Liverpool, things of that nature. But Northumbria have been the most impressive team in Div 2.
Yeah, I think that's the truest take you can make from their season. It's been nothing short of miraculous.
Yeah.
I think the difference between the two teams is you can look at Northumbria. Well, you can look at Northumbria and you can go, I don't think that they'd struggle in Div 1. I think that they'd have a really good run in the playoffs in Div 1 simply because of the quarterback. And this is coming from someone that's played against them for years. And some of the players that are on their team that are performing really well, you looked at them last year and they were nowhere near as good. But it's just him as an individual, and then there's the two brothers as well as the two Timmins brothers, which have really good players. And I think between them, and I think they've got a couple of others new lads, and then it's made everything else tick. And I genuinely think that they'd be a playoff side. I don't think they'd be in the finals of Div 1 yet because that jump up would be ridiculous. But then you look at Derby and you go, are Derby at that same level? From what I've seen, I don't personally think so. But they have done unbelievably well to do what they've done. I stand by Northumbria by
Whilst
30,
I have gone for Northumbria
just
to help play
me.
devil's advocate a bit, they have actually only scored, I think Northumbria have had 256 points in the year, Derby have had 239. And you've got to also include in that, well, let's be honest, you had sort of three, arguably four teams in the Northern 2B with Northumbria who haven't had their best of years, with the exception of Sheffield. Whereas there's a degree of, such as Derby played against Nottingham Green and have averaged 40 points a game. Once again, I've gone Northumbria, but in sort of devil's advocate, you could look at the leagues.
His thing, like, it wouldn't be a massive surprise, but I think, outside of the Prem, you've got to be looking at Northumbria and being like, this is probably their game here.
See,
but
I would.
It feels harsh having all 4 picks for Northumbria in a way.
Well, no, because
Yes,
I
it
haven't.
does.
I've picked Derby.
Oh, there you go.
And the reason, and I think as much as I will be public and say that I don't like him because he plays for Hull or played for Hull, I think Jamie's take was very good, but for the wrong game. I think that the idea of it getting down and dirty and difficult, I think this is the game where that could happen. This is the game where Northumbria haven't played from behind at all year. They've dicked everybody. I think they come up against a Derby side who are out for blood. They are out to show everybody that they got fucked over, that they should be the ones going up. And I think they come out the gates storming, and I think Northumbria could end up in a dogfight that they're not used to. So I agree with Jamie's take. I just think it was in the wrong game.
So you don't agree with him at all?
No.
Okay. Just get that out of the way. So last game, which will be Swansea versus Brighton. Obviously, Swansea, they've been doing very well. Obviously, they had a bit of a hiccup in the regular season versus the Bullets 2s, where it was, I think it was 21-19 to the Titans. But realistically, they've not really struggled much anywhere else. Imperial getting 8 points on them, 20-8, only beating Gloucestershire by 12 in the first round of the playoffs after beating them by the regular season. But for me, it is see, have it. Don't get me wrong, Brighton are a good side, but I think Swansea are just. I think they're just more of a power.
Brighton have every chance to come out and make us look stupid there.
100%. Like, I'd argue in terms of the games that's, easy to pick and stuff, this is definitely, second on the list of the most difficult.
Yeah.
No, they've got all the chances in the world. Once again, it feels harsh going all 4 against. I believe we've got all 4 for Swansea. So,
Connor.
Connor,
have you got NTU or Exeter? I can't find
NTU, please.
NTU.
And Swansea?
Yeah. And Oxford.
Oh.
What?
Not Oxford.
What?
I'm really
controversial.
Oxford to come back from the dead.
So wait, you got UE, Derby, Brighton, NTU, or have you got Swansea?
I'm gonna.
Brighton.
Connor.
Sorry, yeah, Brighton. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, like Swansea have been good all season. Brighton have been putting together a better season. Their scorelines have been a lot closer, but again, it's going to
be for all we know, Connor could come in last week and slump us all on the Div 2 predictions by going for the 2 sort of. They're not. Yeah, we've gone for all 4, but I think both of them feel harsh as an all 4 because I don't think either game is going to be a complete and utter onslaught. Whereas normally you look at sort of the 4 point, the 4 nillers in terms of predictions.
But I mean, I'm happy to say it. If we want to do the picks, let's just run them down one more time. Obviously, SJs will be going up as well. I believe that. Oh, someone want to plug this? Someone in this chat?
And it's kind of cool. Like,
Fraser Clark has actually helped me. I wasn't gonna plug it just yet, but yeah.
Okay.
Anyone in the Edinburgh area.
Later. I was gonna do one last call for the picks, and then I was gonna.
Yeah, just pretend you haven't seen that comment for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, not a problem at all. So the last call for the picks. So UE versus Durham. UE, but I think Durham do score. That's all I got.
Durham in an absolute barnstormer. And I'm going to say Durham by 1 point because UE miss a 2-pointer.
Oh.
Right.
I think Durham are going to do. I would say Durham are going to do the TCU thing, and down 40 odd points, they'll kick a field goal to make it 40.
I think there'll be a 3-pointer. I think there's a field goal on the cards. I think that's what you've got to go for. Let's be honest. If you get 30 yards out and you have a 4th down, I understand sort of the pride of it, but surely you just go for take points on them. Take the moral victory home.
What to be the then be the only team to take any points away from?
Yeah, they'll be heroes of
like,
Uniball
because
you know full well UE already have shirts printed out with 0 points conceded written on them.
God, you imagine.
I almost guarantee it.
The worst part is that's probably true.
Probably
definitely. Durham need to get out there and just like you'll look in the back. There'll be some guy going frantic with a Tip-X and a Sharpie.
That's probably true. Don't get me wrong, I love the bullets, but that is probably true.
Yeah, I like that take. I like that take.
So Connor, Dylan, Yui.
Yeah.
Okay. NTU versus Exeter. Again, it's very, very difficult to pick, but the Tebs meter is slipping slowly into NTU's corner here for me.
I'm taking NTU. Back north.
Yeah.
I'm going Exeter.
Ooh.
I know that SJ's picked Exeter as well, so any demons
terrified
out there
when-
watching, I know that we have had their president on the show and it seems a bit disingenuous, but SJ has got Exeter as well. And it is a very difficult game, so Leiden, get off Dylan's case. Not on my case, but get off Dylan's case. Brighton versus Swansea. I'm going for Swansea.
Swansea.
Brighton.
I love it. He's doing it. Derby versus Northumbria. Got to give it to the team of the year, the Mustangs.
Oh, I've gone Northumbria.
Can we agree that if they do lose, we can we strip them of that title and go back to the drawing board?
No. I think I can't hear them either.
No, just dead silence. We're just kind of
To be fair, if Oxford win, then we give Connor Coach of the Year, host.
Yeah. No, because we didn't do it last year. Because we had Reading as our team of the year last year, and then they lost to Bath in the final. And Bath were like, "Why aren't we team of the year?" And it's like, well, because Rob was a first-year head coach, and we thought that was impressive that he managed to go all the way. So that's why.
Yeah.
No, Northumbria are team of the year, regardless of what happens.
I think Derby are going to win
because
I think Derby are going to win.
Well, here's the thing, right? So the NFL, what they do is, if the fucking player who wins MVP is in the Super Bowl, if he loses the Super Bowl, do you know what they don't do? They don't take it away from him.
We're also not talking about players here.
See, that's because they don't have a team of the year trophy, do they?
Yeah, but they don't have three.
That's an interesting point. I seem to have been rumbled. Yes.
Right.
That's a very
Have we got time for another conversation about the next year? Because it's the last show, and I feel like I've been thinking, and I've got an idea.
Have we done all the picks? Have we done all the picks?
Yeah.
Have we done?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going Northumbria with a negative 29.5 handicap.
What's the talk about?
So, my idea, and I feel like this is one that Tonya should look at.
Oh God!
It's obviously one that some teams would be a bit against for obvious reasons. But you have your National League, you have your Prem, and then you do away with Div 1 and Div 2, and you merge it all together, and you make it into a big like a big NFL style thing where you're in team divisions of 4, but you play outside of it, and it all interlinks, and you have that as your big competition at the end. So then you don't not have a Div 2 final because that's stupid. And you Div 1 and you did because the jump between Div 1 and Div 2, as has been seen, isn't as big as people think.
that's half the plan, I think. But they want to try and eliminate the amount of traveling teams do, so you will not get that.
Nah,
That's nobody's got any money, dude. Nobody's got any money.
No one else got any money.
Like that's the thing. A coach, if you're in Manchester and so you get drawn to go and play Exeter or Brighton or whoever.
So you still have your conferences, you still have your North and your South, and that's how you link it in. But you have regional based conferences that you play each other as a minimum once a year, and then you have like wildcard games that you play other people. So you're not actually traveling that far that often.
Are you talking about the college football non-conference game idea here? Or?
Yeah, it sounds that's what
similar. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
it aligns with that a little bit.
But that involves but then teams in the college make their own non-conference schedules because they take money, don't they? So that would then involve potentially, there being discussions around money and committees paying other committees to play games. And
you don't accept that shit. You don't let that all come in. But just how as a year just trialing it and just people playing teams that they're just never ever going to play. And I appreciate the financial side of it. It probably wouldn't work.
Jamie Sill for BAFA CEO.
Then you know what you do, Jamie? If you really want this, you wait until NCAA 24 comes out and you make all the teams and you do it yourself. Right.
That would be so unbelievably impressive.
Gary Howells is just a liar. Travelling is the reason UE Sport demoted UE Pirates. It's not. It's because they couldn't be arsed getting their asses handed to them every week. That's why they got demoted. It's not because of travel.
It probably is.
The big thing at BAFA, at BUCS conference every single year that every single uni and everything takes is it's because there aren't as many universities play it and the divisions are so spread out. Running costs for American football clubs are higher than most other sports. Yeah. And their income costs aren't as big because guys, we have our outgoings are in terms of kit and things like that are so high. Teams do not have any money. They don't have enough money to spend. Like MMU didn't have enough money. If we ended up getting drawn, if your idea and we got drawn against fucking Glasgow or Edinburgh, we never have enough money to fulfill that fixture. So that fixture would just never happen.
Sorry for interrupting, but that claim that Gary's just pulled out is wild, and I'm interested to see if this aligns with Connor's number for.
Yeah. They 100% does. That would not even remotely surprise me.
Can that be disclosed?
I think I've heard figures double that for UE, just so you guys are aware.
You can do the maths yourself at home.
Well, I've heard nothing, and I want to end this show because it's been off the rails. It's the last show, and it's been awful.
I disagree. I think it's been class.
Okay,
I've heard Connor's coaching contract sent MMU into 60 million.
All to get him relegated.
God, I really wish that was true.
Okay, so has anyone got anything to plug? Because we won't be here next week. This is the last one. You won't see us.
I saw a comment earlier from Fraser Clark.
Oh yeah.
What a comment it was.
So in our infinite wisdom, on the 30th March, as I have well pushed. What's that?
Well, I think so just talk.
30th of March, we will be playing the first ever indoor fixture in the UK, which I spent a long time fact checking before I gave up and just decided to run with it. I'm quite excited. We'll be trying to cover it. I think due to it being indoors, we'll be able to get cameras behind the QB and such, and we're trying to make it a more media covered event than we ever have. But if anyone's in Edinburgh on the Easter weekend, it's a good event to get down to, I'm hoping. And obviously you've got the Napier Edinburgh varsity this Wednesday. So it's still going on in Scotland pre-adult ball.
I'm happy with that. It'll be an interesting one. Hopefully you do get cameras for that. That'll be a good one to watch. What's your celebration rule like for varsity?
I personally am doing rid of excessive celebration.
Doesn't matter because the referees won't allow it anyway.
Yeah, but see, if you've still got BAFA refs, they'll just they just don't ever.
The same conversation in our varsity last year. Both teams agreed that we could celebrate as long as it wasn't disrespectful, and the rest said, "No, we're still flagging it." And we're like, both teams and both head coaches have agreed to it, and he was like, "No, we don't care." We're like, "Oh,
the
okay."
only thing you can do, I think, is you can decline. You could just decline the penalty every time, but
which you would do until you're 2 points
down in the last.
Yeah, exactly. And then you just become a shithouse.
Right, Connor, you got anything?
Fuck all, mate.
Jamie, I dare say, have you got anything?
No.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen,
We might need to do an emergency show next week if Durham win.
fine.
But
Fine. We'll do an emergency show if Durham win. So, ladies and gentlemen, so how this week looks?
Wait. Have we got an announcement sponsored by Red Shadow Legends?
No, we don't.
No.
Nope, not yet.
Oh.
No, but no, we don't. Not yet, maybe.
Great.
We're not sponsored by Red Shadow Legends, by the way. Let's just get that out of the way. But
Yes.
no. So how this week looks for
That'll be a
Uniball?
vile advert.
Oh my god! Right. Let me do the ending.
Sponsored by Squarespace.
No, not sponsored by Squarespace.
By the way, that last
We're not
comment, two
sponsored.
pups allowed, would be a great segue to the Manscaped advert.
Get a screenshot of that.
Christ.
Right. Uniball this week. What it's looking like tomorrow. Kick-off at 2 is NTU versus the Exeter Demons for the Div 1 Championship. That'll be on BUCS YouTube, maybe even BUCS TV as well, but BUCS YouTube is easy to find. And then after that, 5, 6-ish, obviously dependent on how things could happen. It's going to be the Bullets versus the Saints. Also tomorrow, then on Sunday, Sportank is live streaming both Division 2 finals. Swansea versus Brighton will kick off at 11, and Derby versus Northumbria will kick off at 2. I believe they've just said to me in a message, we'll kick off at 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for, if you came on the show, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, thank you to Connor, thank you to SJ, thank you to Dylan, thank you to Jay. Everyone, we will see you, or I will see you on Sunday, but keep commenting, keep posting, keep telling us how wrong we are when Durham smash them all, apart from Jamie, of course. But ladies and gentlemen, what a season it has been. The 23-24 season is almost over. And from myself, Tebs, thank you very much for watching.
Thank you for sorting it all, Tabs. You've killed it again.
Rundown is, I would say it's over, but I didn't clock the Senior Ball starts soon. Guess what? There might be a rundown next week, but it won't be a Uniball one. It won't be a Uniball one. So
I don't know if I want to plug it, but there was a post put out on Sportank during the show about the Senior Ball one that they've got a new host, but it's a surprise.
Yes. So watch that. Well, we're not going to tell you who's, but we got some new hosting. Don't worry, it's not me. You don't have to sit through another year of me.
Steve Rains.
Oh,
wow.
I will be watching.
What an awful way to end the show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you at the weekend for Swansea versus Brighton. But for everyone who's come on the rundown, for everyone, thank you very, very, very much for watching, even if you've watched just 1 second of it. The 2023-24 BUCS season is officially almost over. Goodbye. I can't do this again.